What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today, I'm going to do a little bit of storytelling. Hopefully, I can relate with some of you that may have had some similar experiences or have some regular experiences like this. This was definitely probably the darkest day of my anxiety journey. It rivals the very first panic attack that I had that set all this off. But it was worse for different reasons, and I'll get into that, okay? But if you deal with anxiety, help me spread some anxiety awareness today by hitting the like button. Leave me a comment, guys. Let me know if you've had anything like this happen to you. If you want to share whatever regarding anxiety, do that. If you just want to say, hey, what's up? I'm down for that too. Also, if you have some insight on to possibly what happened to me on this day, because there's still a little bit of confusion on what exactly happened. I have my suspicions on what it was, but it was definitely scary. So if you have any input or anything you want to add to this, definitely do that below. So I had anxiety for 5 years. Now, the very first panic attack that I had, it was 6 hours, but I thought I was dying from a heart attack. I knew what the fear was, right? There was a little bit of impending doom, but I at least knew what I was scared of. Now, flash forward a couple years into my anxiety. My anxiety progressed. I had the cardiophobia really bad. I feared other diseases. I had bad health anxiety. I was having multiple panic attacks a day. So I was no stranger at this point to anxiety. My awareness was a little bit higher than what it was, obviously, in the beginning. I was in a bad habit of drinking alcohol to make my symptoms go away. And I would start doing that earlier and earlier every single day. And I'm talking about drinking a lot. So on this particular day, I had a bad hangover. Some of you have heard me tell you the story about me having a brain zap. Well, this was on the same day. The brain zap was the first part of the day associated with a panic attack, having some anxiety, an anxiety hangover. And then it progressed into something that I haven't really talked about on this channel. Not sure why, maybe a little bit of insecurity, because it was rough. This was really terrifying on a different level. So the night before, I did a lot of drinking, and I drank a lot every single night, but I went extra hard. And the next day I woke up, obviously having anxiety, which is, it's an anxiety hangover, mixture of dehydration, the effects of just, drinking too much the night before, and then it amplifies your anxiety. So I had an extreme level of anxiety that morning with all the symptoms, multiple panic attacks, and I was in a bad state. But eventually I had a brain zap, and I've talked about this. Brain zaps are weird. They're hard to explain. They feel weird. It's like a spasmy vibration in your head. That's the best way that I can describe it. You can do your own research on brain zaps. There's not a ton of information out there or explanation. There's not a ton, unfortunately. But I believe that that's what I had that day. Thought I was having a stroke, or it was the start of an aneurysm or something. I fell to the ground. I was like, oh, I was telling my girlfriend at the time, call 911. But as fast as it popped up, it went away very quickly afterwards. So panic, symptoms all over the place. Then I was hit with a brain zap. After that, I was in this weird funk that I had never really been in before. Sure, you have these feelings of being scared. You have these feelings of being in fight or flight. You have negativity, maybe some bouts of depression, all these different negative emotions. But this just felt different. I felt off, okay? And this is whenever I started to experience mental pain. Like I said, I've had certain levels of it, but this was at a higher level. And I'm going to try to explain this the best way that I can. It's not easy. I know a lot of you can relate with that. Trying to explain people what you're feeling in your mind, and people kind of looking at you all puzzled. So I'll do the best that I can to describe kind of what happened after this, because for me, it was the scariest day of my life. And I've had a lot of scary ones with my anxiety. So, with all that being said, I felt weird. I felt off. Not really sure. I wouldn't characterize it as like being depersonalized or derealization or anything like that. I mean, there was a little bit of that, but it wasn't mainly that. And to this day, I think it was just this impending doom, except it wasn't associated with, me fearing death or anything like that. At this point, I literally did not know what I was afraid of. I was just severely afraid. And this started to grow and to magnify. And I did what I always did. I called my mom, because my girlfriend at the time, she didn't really understand too much. She would get frustrated, overwhelmed. I don't necessarily blame her, but that was kind of how it was. So my safety net was my mom. So I called my mom up. I was like, I don't feel right. This happened earlier today. Mentally, I feel really unstable right now. I'm scared, and I don't even know what I'm scared of, Mom. I'm just trying to fight something off that I don't even know. I don't even know what it is. And I'll explain what that was in just a little bit, as best as I can again. So my mom comes and gets me. And this is when it starts to hit hard. I'm in the car with her, and we're driving, which is like a 25-minute drive, which freaking sucks when you have anxiety. I had driving anxiety as well, so the feeling of being trapped in a vehicle while you're anxious is horrible. So at this point, I still don't believe that I'm dying. I don't believe that I'm having a stroke, which is weird because that's what my panic attacks kind of were like. I thought I was dying from something physically. I had bad health anxiety, so that is what consumed me 24/7, it seemed. Now I'm in the car and I'm trying to fight off this weird feeling. And today, I think it was an extreme case of impending doom. I felt like I was fighting off losing my mind. And to visually describe this as best as I can, I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of a wormhole, or, and if you haven't seen a picture of a wormhole in space or a black hole, right? Another way of describing it would be like a whirlpool, okay? Just something swirling, and in the middle you have this suction, right? This black hole. And I felt like I was trying to swim out of that the whole trip to my mother's house. Trying to swim out of that. I don't know what's at the bottom of that hole. At the time, I felt like I was going to lose my mind. I was going to have to be admitted into a hospital and sedated. I felt like it was the point of no return, not death. I didn't fear death. I feared like I was slipping out of this reality. I felt like that hole would take me to another world, maybe another dimension. I felt like I was losing my mind and I was on the verge of it. I guess another way of describing the kind of pain that I was going through, and I don't know if this makes sense. Again, I'm trying to make sense of it and describe it to you guys so you can understand. Those of you that have panic attacks, have you ever had that day where you're always on the freaking verge of one? You know what I mean? Like, and you're trying to fight it off. And it's miserable. It makes you even more miserable. It's almost better to just have the damn panic attack and then be on with your day. But that was kind of what it was. I'm trying to fight it off. And this is the first time that I've experienced extreme mental pain. In that moment, I remember thinking, God, I wish I was scared of a heart attack right now. I wish that I was thinking that I was having a stroke right now, this surpassed that. And I realized like the fear of losing your mind is like, for me anyways, it was greater than the fear of dying. And that's where I thought I was heading. I thought I was about to lose everything, that I, for whatever reason, was not going to be able to bounce back from this. And those moments were terrifying for me. And I struggled with that the whole way there, fighting this off. I wouldn't say that they were voices or anything like that. I don't want you guys to take this wrong. It wasn't voices or anything like that. There was no clear-cut message. I just felt like I was on the verge of something horrible, and I was trying to escape it. And you know how it is whenever you try to fight things off, whether they're symptoms or negative thoughts, intrusive thoughts, or whatever it is, emotions, sensations, they come on stronger, because when you're trying to fight something off, you're obviously scared of it, you're fearful of it, and it comes on stronger and stronger, when it's associated with anxiety. So it kept getting worse and worse and worse. And at this point, I'm sitting in the car with my mom, and when the feeling would come on really hard, where I felt like I was about to get sucked in, I'd be like, no, stop, no. Like I was audibly and vocally expressing my fear. And I wasn't feeling any physical pain. This was straight up mental pain. So after, this horrible drive, and I remember telling my mom, I was like almost in tears, but I was too fearful to even cry really, but I was on the brink. And I was telling her, I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like everything's about to just fall out. Like everything's about to slip away from me. I'm slipping, out of this reality, out of this world. Like I'm trying to fight off something. And it was so hard for me to explain. And as you can tell, it's hard for me to explain it to you. just visually, just imagine this huge swirling, black hole or wormhole or whirlpool. And if I got to the middle, I was going to be away from this world. And, I got home and to my mom's house anyways, still feeling like I'm trying to fight this feeling off. Now, mind you, I didn't feel like I was going to do anything bad or evil. I didn't feel that. I didn't feel like I was feeling suicidal or felt like I needed to hurt myself or somebody. That wasn't, I don't want you guys to take this the wrong way. That wasn't what I was feeling. But I got home and I took like 4 Benadryl. I didn't have a script for benzos or anything like that. I didn't do that. So I took 4 Benadryl. I was in and out of consciousness the rest of the day. It took so much out of me. I struggled, the rest of that day just trying to get to sleep, and I ended up getting some good sleep that night. And then the next day, the weirdest thing is like it didn't come back. And that still confuses me. Usually when you're super terrified of something or you have a horrible experience and, it can like traumatize your subconscious, usually some type of association is made and that can continue to happen. And on a micro level, like symptoms, when you show fear and, you show, fear, general, just straight up fear to your symptoms or negative thoughts, they usually continue to happen, right? Fear is the gasoline to this fire. And, it didn't happen again, and it hasn't happened since, obviously. So I'm very lucky that that wasn't something I continued to deal with. But again, as you can tell, it's hard for me to even describe what I went through that day. It was just different. I was so used to dealing with physical symptoms, physical pain, leading to panic, but I guess this was just like an extreme version of impending doom. And I was like, it's scarier to not know what you're scared of. And that's where I was. I didn't know what the hell I was even scared of. I didn't even know, really. And, the best answer I could have given at the time was like, I felt like I was about to lose my mind, and that's what I was afraid of. But there was no clear-cut, thing. Just like there was no clear-cut voice talking to me or anything like that. It was just impending doom, I guess, at its finest. And I've always been big on health anxiety being like one of the worst things you can deal with, but this day kind of made me feel a little bit different, what I wanted to be afraid of a heart attack. I wanted to be afraid of a stroke. It was worse for me to be afraid of losing my mind. That feeling was terrible. That mental pain surpassed any physical pain I had ever dealt with. So I don't know. This is just kind of something I just wanted to talk about and kind of, I don't know, just relate with you guys. I don't know, just some content, right? Put some content on the channel. But if you're going through any of this, you're not alone. And, the good news is I was able to overcome this. I was able to overcome my panic attacks. I was able to overcome my health anxiety, my generalized anxiety, and move forward. And I have a happy life now, and I help other people, and I coach other people, and, I make these videos, and, I have a family. I have so many great things in my life, and I learned a lot from my anxiety. So your perception of anxiety does have to change, in order for you to be able to move past anxiety, you know what I mean? So if you need extra help, if you need strategy, if you need tools, guys, get my course or, sign up for coaching. I'm not going to sit here and beg you to do that, but it's there. It's always there. I'd love to help you out. I'd love to be a part of your journey. I'd love for you to be able to pick my brain, and I would love to help you with your unique situation. Everybody's anxiety is different. You need a personalized plan, so I'd love to help you with that. But guys, I love you all. Thanks for listening to me today, and the description down below has tons of resources. If you've never tried therapy, online therapy's down there. All my social networks are down there. Join all those, be a part of that. Some Facebook communities are there. But I love you all, and until next time, keep fighting.